Yo, what is up, boys? How's it going? And welcome back to another episode of the Rant Cafe Anime Podcast. Me and Recon are back at it again, talking about three new anime. The three anime we're talking about this week are Dragon Ball Daima, we're talking about Orb, The Movements of the Earth, and Shangri La Frontier, Season 2. So, last week we covered Dawn to Dawn, Demon Lord 2099, and Blue Lock, and now this week we're watching a new three, and then next week we'll watch another three. And honestly, I am going to try and continue to watch these anime from week to week, and hopefully we could give you an update on if we drop them, if we're still liking them, so on and so forth. For example, I just watched the newest, one of the newer episodes of Dawn to Dawn, and I'm still loving it. But anyway, which anime do you want to start off with today, Recon? Your choice.
I guess we can start, simple. Google, let's go with Daima.
All right, Dragon Ball Daima. I really enjoyed the first episode because the first episode was a bit of like a So let me just preface. Dragon Ball Daima is similar to GT in a way where they got turned back into kids by like a demon lord or like one of the demon kings or something like that. So basically, in the first episode, they kind of. So correct me if I'm wrong, Recon. Do you think Daima is after Dragon Ball Z but before Dragon Ball Super?
I think it took place after Z because the demons, the new Demon King was like rewatching what happened between the fight of Vegeta and Goku versus Majin Buu. Like he was so upset that Majin Buu got defeated that he decides to turn them all into children. So I'm pretty sure it was after Z.
So it's definitely after Dragon Ball Z, but I do think it might take place prior to Super. I think that makes sense. And also, I really loved the first episode because, like you said in the first episode, you had this, it was kind of like a refresh, like a recap what happened in Dragon Ball Z. And it was so nostalgic. They were kind of like using like a TV screen in a way and scrolling through the events of the Majin Buu arc and seeing all these cool moments.
I loved the new visuals of the Majin Buu arc.
Oh my god, yes.
Like just seeing them remastered, especially the Majin Vegeta's final explosion. I'm like, oh, chef's kiss. It was so good to see it in just better quality.
Exactly.
Awesome.
I love Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball in general. I grew up with it. I'm a big fan of Goku and Vegeta and the boys. So it's awesome seeing them again. I loved episode 1 because we got the recap. It was kind of like a present day recap, kind of going through stuff that the ending of Dragon Ball Z, and that was super fun to do. However, after episode 1, it's just, I enjoyed it, but it was nothing too special after episode 1 so far.
It's okay so far. I mean, it's different, I guess. Akira Toriyama just wanted to go towards a different path. It's something we don't usually get. Like we know Goku, yeah, we know he's overpowered and all that stuff, but let's take a different route and just make him a little bit more weaker than usual. And turning them into kids is definitely a surprise, but I like it. It's going back to the GT days of when Goku was, or is it back to GT days or when Goku was a teen? I think it's back to Teen Goku, right?
I don't know exactly
in GT Goku he can fly, but in Teen he's struggling. So I'm pretty sure it's back to the Goku Teen days because he's using his power pole again.
Yeah, they're not going for GT because GT is not canon. What they're doing is they're bringing it back to Dragon Ball days. Dragon Ball days was more about like the adventure. It was him as a child against enemies that he hadn't faced before, and then as they grow up, he gets stronger and he fights against like these world level threats. And it feels like they're trying. Well, just to explain the premise to everyone. Basically, at the end of Dragon Ball Z, Dabura, that Demon King guy, got killed, right? And because of that, a new person took his place, and his name is Goma. And Goma is like, okay, now that I'm the Demon King, I want to do this, this, and that. However, these guys are a fucking threat. Like, he's watching from the demon realm. He's like watching, like going through time and on his like iPad and TV, watching like Goku fight against the Supreme Kai. He's like, oh my god, these Saiyans are crazy strong. And he's going, oh my god, these Saiyans are defeating Majin Buu. That's wild. He was worried about Majin Buu being a threat, and he found out that Majin Buu was defeated by the Saiyans. So his plan was, let me use the Dragon Balls to turn them into children. You can't just use the Dragon Balls to like make them die because it's a black wish. No. So you have to do a white wish or like a generic wish that works in your favor without it being like, yeah, poison or give Goku a heart attack. It has to be like turn Goku into a child so that he's like not a threat to me. Mm-hmm. But little does he know Goku is still a beast as a child. He's just not used to He's not able to fly right now
He can't
very
go
well.
Super Saiyan anymore, though.
He might be able to, man. If you look at like Goten and Trunks and stuff, they go Super Saiyan pretty early on. So considering Goku's done it before, he might not be able to do it right away because he's still getting used to it. Like his center of gravity's off and he can't fly right away. But I think as he continues to fight, he'll probably be able to go Super Saiyan.
I guess you're right, but it's just so nice to see a once overpowered protagonist go back to being, a weakling. But I mean, I don't know if he's a weakling. I mean, yeah, sure, he fought some goons at the bar, but these are like just goons. They're not really anything special. So because Goku already knows karate or kung fu, whatever you want to call it, yeah, sure, he can beat them. But if it's against a more tougher opponent, I'm more excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, same. So like I said, for the most part, it's Dragon Ball. It's super nostalgic. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm enjoying it.
We know Dragon Ball.
Exactly.
We know it.
Episode 1 was great. After that, episode 2 and 3 has just been okay so far. They're going to the Demon Realm. They're going on an adventure. They're trying to save Dende, who got kidnapped, and they're trying to stop the Demon King from doing whatever he's trying to do, which is Goma.
Because the reason they took Dende is because the Dragon Balls can't be operated without him. So he needs to be present for the Dragon Balls to be operated.
Yeah, something like that. Also, there was one like female demon that was like is my favorite character so far. Cannot remember her name though, because I am so bad with names. I wouldn't remember Goma's name unless I looked it up. There's Glorio, who is currently traveling with Goku. He's a
new character.
Yeah, Glorio's a new character, but there's also Dageshi is the Supreme Kai's brother, who's currently working for the Demon King, Goma. And then there's Dr. Arinasu, who is best girl right now.
Doctor who?
What's it called? It's like the Supreme Kai's sister.
Have we seen her?
Yeah, in episode 1. She like is the crazy-haired demon girl who like came and was like messing with Goma and Degasu.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna continue watching it. It's Dragon Ball.
Seeing Roshi back in
Roshi's a kid again.
The good old day.
Homie's about to riz everyone up. Oh my goodness gracious.
I was so surprised to see Roshi back into his prime days. Time to get all the ladies now.
All right. Okay, so after Dragon Ball Daima, I'm down to move on to Shangri La Frontier. You could take it away. I need to look up the character names because I am so bad with character names.
Honestly, this is probably my most exciting arc from Shangri La Frontier because it's going to be all about going against Lycaon, the next big boss, which is the Night Wolf, the enemy who gave what's his name? The main protagonist.
Our main character's name, Rakuro.
Raku. Sanraku. Yeah. It's the wolf gave Sanraku these like marks on his body, which I guess you could say the effects are cool, but it does limit his potential of being able to equip stuff. But what it does essentially is make lower level enemies that are lower level than him just afraid and run away. So I guess it's got its benefits and not benefits.
I think it also had some other benefits, but I can't remember exactly what they were. So he can't wear armor, but then yes, lower level enemies run away from him. Mm-hmm. And then there was something else with it. I can't remember exactly what it is. I wonder if I could find it here.
I'm not sure, but
maybe like a higher crit percentage or something, or I don't know.
I don't know about that. But his main goal is to defeat Lycaon, get rid of the marks on his body, and also make Belak, the rabbit blacksmith, into more of a higher legendary smith to be able to use the weaponry gadgets that he got from defeating Weathermon back in the first season. So
okay,
it's developing really well so far, and I'm really liking it. I just enjoy series like this, MMO genre gaming, Chad Lad gamer, and he's going in naked like Dark Souls and just doing things the more harder way. It just speaks fun to me. And okay. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than SAO as well.
No way, that's crazy. That says a lot because you are a big SAO glazer.
Indeed, I am. It's just I don't know. This is more fun than SAO. Like SAO is sure it's a lot more serious, but Shangri-La is more goofier and it's just fun. I like it.
All right, let me just talk about Shangri La Frontier again. So I loved season 1. I'm a big fan of season 1, and I think the pacing in season 1 was pretty fantastic. Pretty early on, he gets a unique encounter with Lycagon, whatever the big wolf was, right? And he's fighting it one-on-one. Towards the end of the season, he fights against Weathermon, the Tomb Guard, another unique event, and they were the first people to defeat it. There's some fun battles in between. He's discovering this world. He's training. He's fighting different bosses. He's discovering different unique events within the rabbit world. Can't remember what it's called. And I think season 1...
He's the only one that knows about the rabbit world. Nobody else does.
I think season 1 is really good. It's really fun to watch this like epic hardcore gamer drop into like a more mainstream game and fall in love with the world and something that actually has a lot of quality involved with it. So because of that, I'm obviously going to continue to watch. However, with season 1, it's only been 3 episodes so far. I'm not exactly invested just yet. If anything, I was actually quite bored for the first and second episode. I was not like super immersed in the first or second episode. However, with episode 3, they start talking to these other guilds. I think it was like Momo Saiga and Rai Saiga, whatever. I can't remember exactly what their names were, but there were leaders of. Oh, what the fuck is her like? Cyber Zero? Was it Cyber Zero? Is that her name?
Saiger Zero.
Yes, like Saiger Zero and the other one of the...
Saiger with a P, P-S-Y, yes. Saiger.
One of the guild leaders and another guild leader or another clan leader, they all have this like conversation and they end up forming an alliance. But while before they talk about forming the alliance, they're talking about all the unique boss encounters, like Weathermon. There's one that's a dragon. There's one that's like a kraken or octopus.
Bro, some of these bosses that they're talking about look insane.
Yeah, they look so over the top. And like I said, I was kind of bored for the first 2 episodes, maybe even a little bit of episode 3. And the second they started talking about like these bosses, I started getting hyped. And I'm like, they don't need to fight them right now, but the planning of it just got me going, and I'm like, yeah, I need to keep on watching. I love season 1, and I expect season 2 to be great as well.
When they're talking about all these bosses, it's kind of giving me the idea that this is going to be a very long-running series, because there's all these bosses to beat, so they can easily make a good amount of seasons for this.
Yes.
If they choose to do that.
Kind of like what Sword Art Online should have done with Aincrad, you know? There's 100 floors.
Exactly.
You know how many different bosses and world building they could have done? And instead it felt like they had this cool concept. That's like the concept of going into a game and if you die, you're killed. And then they fly through like 25, 50 floors or 75 floors in like 2 seconds. So yeah, the first couple floors were cool. But with other floors, there could be different demographics, different landscapes, different types of bosses, lore about the bosses that they need to learn and strategize. And like losing loved ones or friends would hit harder if they're working so hard together. Sacrifices to achieve their goal to get to the final floor. I feel like it was just such a good concept that just wasn't done properly, and I do think
Shangri-La is now ticking those boxes slowly.
I was gonna say, I think Shangri La Frontier is taking its time to world build and build the lore around these bosses. The stakes aren't there because like it doesn't have the stakes that SAO has, but at the end of the day, I think it's doing a great job, and I am definitely invested.
Who's your favorite character so far in Shangri-La?
In Shangri-La, I ship Saiger Zero and Raku, so I like Saiger Zero a lot.
Yeah, she's pretty overpowered.
Yeah, like it's the contrast between like her voice, who she actually is in real life, and then the absolute beast and monster she is in the game is so great to me. I find it such a funny concept, and I'm rooting for her. Like I'm rooting for her to like, you know, get closer to Raku and become his friend, and maybe more than friends. And I think that alone is what I think.
Son Raku is kind of dense.
He's dense for sure. But I like the concept that she's like so weak and shy, and then she uses gaming to like be someone else in a way and have that escape from reality. And that's what gaming's all about. You know, I love it.
It's awesome.
Okay, so we covered the first 2, Dragon Ball Daima. I'm gonna continue watching, although I kind of loved episode 1 more than the rest of it, but I'm sure it'll get good. It's Dragon Ball. It always ends up getting hype.
We just gotta wait.
And it's kind of the same thing with Shangri La Frontier. It's like it had a little bit of a slow start, but I'm super invested, and I love season 1, so of course I'm going to keep on watching. And then finally, we have Orb, the Movements of the Earth.
Orb.
Fucking Recon today messaged me. He waited until today to watch episode 1, and he's like, I felt like I hated it. I was going to fall asleep. I don't want to watch the rest. I'm like, bro, you have one job. Watch 3 episodes for the podcast. Because, dude, I I fucking love it. I absolutely love Orb. It's probably my second favorite anime that I've watched this season.
It's definitely not for everyone, but
Yeah?
I can definitely see it as one of the more underrated series.
So you didn't like it off of episode 1, but after watching episode 2 and 3, it seems like you've changed your mind a little bit.
It did start picking up a little bit. It started getting interesting, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. But maybe I'm not too much into science. The whole thing is just revolves around astronomy and space and the planets and the moon and shit. I'm like, I don't know. This isn't really for me. I'm not really too much of a science person, I guess. That's what I mean when it's probably not going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
Because if you're not really into that sort of stuff, as like astronomy and all that shit, you probably won't really enjoy this.
So I feel like you had this in your head, though, before you even watched the first episode, that it wasn't going to be for you. That's why you waited until today to watch it. And then you probably would have dropped it off of episode 1, but because of this podcast, you had to watch 3 episodes, and it seems like you're starting to like it a little bit more.
It's all right. It's okay.
So I believe, I can't remember exactly where it takes place. Isn't it like 15th or 16th century Poland?
Old days. I don't know. Somewhere in the old days.
Synopsis. I'm very curious. 15th century Poland, most likely.
Poland?
Yes, 15th century Poland it takes place in. And what I really like about it, obviously, it's about astronomy to a certain extent, but it's about discovery and like new information and like cultures and religions and people of the past being so close-minded. And then that like imaginative and creativity and curiosity to discover the unknown despite what other people think and the repercussions is a very cool concept. Because basically it takes place in 15th century Poland. And at the time, obviously, religion is has a very specific way of thinking. And the religion almost acts as a police or government. The church acts as a police or government. So basically, if your science findings don't align with the Bible, then they see you
get screwed.
They see you as a heretic, and they will torture you and kill you and put you in jail because you are trying to discover things that counter the word of God. And basically,
they're going to burn you. That's the end of it.
But basically, you have these scholars and people that are interested in science learning about astronomy and realizing, oh shit, because back in the day, they believed that everything, all the other planets and the sun revolve around the Earth. We're the center. We're so important. That's why God created us. That's why God created Earth and they created us humans, because we are the center of the universe and everything rotates around us. However, through charting the different planets and the stars, they started to realize that this is not adding up. And certain people realize, oh shit, there is a chance that other planets, that we are orbiting the sun and other planets are orbiting the sun. And I need to pull up the character list. Anyway, by discovering these things, you're almost defying what's in the Bible to a certain extent. And because of that, they see you as a heretic and they will, torture you and try to get you to take back what you're saying. They give you one chance, and if you do it again, you continue your research, they will burn you alive as like a witch. Basically.
I'm genuinely surprised that you got all that info.
I really enjoy this anime. So,
I mean, it definitely sounds like you were sunken into this series.
I was so invested. In theory, I don't know if it's going to continue to be this way. Compared to Shangri La Frontier Season 2, the 3 episodes I've watched so far, and compared to Dragon Ball Daima, the 3 episodes I've watched so far, I have definitely enjoyed Orb the most. I still think I'm enjoying Dawn a little bit more, but Orb, I'm very, very invested in it. I just can't remember the character names. What was the last thing you watched in the episode?
I think the main protagonist is
Raffle. And did you see what ended up happening to Raffle or no? I know you only watched 3.
he was fucking trialed.
Yeah.
He was completely trialed because something was wrong with his research. So they did a trial on him, and he said like, "Oh, I'm just a heretic. Don't worry." Is it heretics?
Heretic, yes.
Yeah, heretics.
So it's not that something was wrong with his research.
He's still in jail. He's still being trialed, and something was wrong with his research.
It's not that something is wrong with his research. His research is prohibited. You're not allowed to research things that defy the Bible.
Yeah.
That don't align with the Bible. So after a certain amount of stars discovered, they're like, leave astronomy alone. It's just going to get you called a heretic and killed. So
it's pretty much what happened to that old dude. What's his name? Hubert?
Yes.
Yeah, he was put in jail because pretty much he was doing too much research. So they put him in jail, locked him up, but secretly he still was into it. I guess it was cool, for Raffle and Hubert to kind of work together because they're both, in a way, geniuses or very smart characters that are going to somewhat change the world through their research. So I guess that was cool.
Okay, so I do want to say here, now that I know where you are roughly. So it's cool to see like them discovering science and like kind of like secretly doing it to find the church and the repercussions of that and kind of the way things were done back in the day. And then the beauty of like what they discover and their excitement is really awesome. However, you only watched 3 episodes. I watched all 5 that were out. And one of the important themes here is like kind of like passing on. I don't know exactly the terminology to use here, but basically Hubert passes on his research and more than his research, his ideologies and his love for science and discovery and the beauty of the world to Raphael. Or Raffle, whatever his name is. Inherited will. Raffle inherits Hubert's will. And without spoiling, throughout the series, you will see that it goes from Hubert to Raffle to someone else to someone else. The way that these people influence each other and inspire each other is super exciting. And it's a strong theme within the series. What ends up happening in episode 4 is fucking crazy. I don't even know if I like it. But it's definitely all about that inherited will, and you'll see it when you watch episode 4. And there's some crazy stuff with Novak to come, the torturer, stuff that you would not see.
Novak is insane, man. He's just going around killing people, and he's trying to get down to the bottom of it. He's insane, I tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of, but there's stuff that happens with Novak in the next 2 episodes that you definitely wouldn't expect or see coming.
Okay.
Anyway, I think it's a definitely an underrated anime. Maybe it's not for everyone, like you said, because it does deal with like it's in 15th century Poland. It deals with religion and astronomy.
Science and astronomy. A lot of people probably won't enjoy it, but
I think if people give it a chance, this is one of the better anime this season.
I'm sure people will give it a chance, but it just depends on whether they want to take in all that information,
Yeah, true. Anyway,
there's
boys,
a lot. Like you need to stay awake and use your brain for this show. You can't just turn off your brain in this. But for me, this is what I mean. For me, I prefer shows where I turn off my brain and just chill.
I feel like you could turn off your brain to a certain extent with this series. Like you don't need you don't need to understand the science. Like it's pretty simple. The fucking planets revolve around the Earth and around the sun and not the Earth. Like it's nothing like too complicated.
But they're talking about like fucking stars and names and all that, man.
Anyway, I think
it's okay.
This is probably one of the better anime this season. But what I want to continue to do with this series is kind of like you could drop an anime if you want to drop it, Recon. Like if you're not interested in this, I would advise watching 2 more episodes.
No, I'm gonna continue it. I mean, I've already made it this far.
Yes.
So might as well continue.
I think we're allowed to definitely drop an anime along the way. But basically, in the first week, we covered Dandadan, Blue Lock, and Demon Lord 2099. And this week, we covered Dragon Ball Daima, Shangri La Frontier, and Orb, the Movements of the Earth. And what I want to kind of do is continue to watch those series throughout the week. We're going to talk about 3 new anime next week. So we're going to talk about 3 new anime next week. But I wouldn't mind touching upon, if we're still watching shows, what we like and what we dislike. Like, have you watched the new episode of Demon Lord 2099?
Yes, I did.
Was it good? Because now he's becoming a fucking Twitch streamer, basically.
Bro, I didn't expect him to play Dark Souls on stream and literally gain popularity for sucking.
Yeah. I mean, so I actually haven't watched the episode, so don't get too much into it. But like that's something I want to watch that and like talk about that next week briefly. Like,
you haven't seen the episode?
No, yet. I haven't had a lot of time this week. I've been really busy, so I didn't do what I want to do. No, you're good. I don't care. It's not a big deal. That's why I mentioned Demon Lord.
I thought you watched it.
No, I chose that one specifically because I don't care that much about being spoiled. Okay. But I wouldn't want to be spoiled for Don the Don, for example. But anyway, like I kind of like we could briefly at the end of the podcast talk about like cool scenes from those anime that we covered in previous weeks. Is kind of the idea.
Okay.
Anyway, I did start to watch one of the newer episodes of Don the Don. Are you caught up with Don the Don?
Yeah, I watched the new episode today.
So I haven't watched the newest episode, but I watched like last week's one, and they're fighting Turbo Granny, and one of my favorite parts is just the fact that like they're baiting this granny into jumping onto the train basically. And it's like, she fell for the bait, and our characters almost wanted her to catch them so they could cross that line, and then our granny on our side could take her out with her abilities once they like
the badass granny.
Oh yes, the badass granny once she leaves the region. So yeah, I'm loving Don the Don. It's still probably my favorite anime of the season, right next to Orb. Is there anything like? Have you watched any other anime that you're really liking?
Let me check the list.
Actually, that's a good idea. Why don't we look at the list and decide what we're going to watch for next week?
Yeah, sure.
Any chart. All right. We got Don the Don, Blue Lock. We did that.
Are you watching Ranma 1.5?
I have not. I'm down to watch Ranma 1.5 for next week, though.
It is... have you seen the show Urusei Yatsura from like a couple of seasons ago?
I have not.
One of the reboots. You haven't seen that one?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm enjoying Ranma a lot.
Is Ranma a remake?
Yeah,
it's a remake. Okay, so I'm down to watch Ranma. We need to find 2 more anime to choose from for next week.
Let's see.
I think we should do Uzumaki. I know you watched one episode, you didn't really enjoy it. It
was so shit.
I thought the first episode was good. It's a trippy concept, but I think we watched Ranma, Uzumaki, and I'll let you choose the last one.
Bro, I can't believe you're gonna force me to watch it. I didn't like it at all.
Just watch 3 episodes. It's okay.
God.
3 episodes.
Okay, and last one.
We could watch Sword Art Online Alternate Gun Gale Online 2. Nah, let's go.
Nah.
I can't believe you don't watch Bleach, dude. I want to watch Bleach.
I haven't watched Bleach. I can't really watch it. I haven't seen the others.
I know.
I'm just not gonna understand what the fuck is going on. How about Mecha Ude?
Sure, I'm down for whatever, dude.
Mecha Ude is pretty good.
Why don't we watch the new Don Machi season?
Yeah, we could do that.
I watched a couple episodes and some of the reveals were crazy, so I would love to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, we could do Don Machi, sure.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's do Ranma, Don Machi, and Uzumaki.
All right.
Cool. And then we'll also try and catch up with Demon Lord and Don the Don and Blue Lock and those other ones, and we could kind of talk about that a little bit as well.
Oh yeah, what did you think of the new Blue Lock episode?
So I haven't, unfortunately, this week I didn't. I only caught up to the 3 anime that we're watching, Orb and the other Dragon Ball Daima or Daima, whatever. Yeah, okay. I haven't had a chance to catch up with everything, but I'm gonna do that now for next week.
Okay.
Was the episode good today for Don the Don?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. A lot more of character interaction.
Nice between our two main characters.
Yeah, it's really really good.
Awesome. No spoilers though. We'll do that next time.
Not gonna spoil.
That's about it. It's a bit of oh my god. There's a golf anime getting a 2nd season. I haven't watched that one yet. Tombo. I was kind of scrolling through the list.
Mm-hmm. Screw golf. By the way, there's a new anime that got announced a couple days ago.
What's it called?
It's called Failure Skill Nut Master.
What the fuck is that? I repeat, what the fuck is that?
To be honest, I had the same reaction. I'm like, Nut Master? What?
Ayo. Have you heard of the anime Let This Grieving Souls Retire?
Yeah, I'm watching it. It's good. I like
It's
that
good?
one.
Okay, in a future week, we could do that. In a future week, I'd be down to do that.
It's generic, but it's fun.
Okay, cool. I mean, we're going to get into more generic anime and then probably into some trash anime if we continue to do this. And I'm down to continue to do this for sure. It's fun. It also just forces me to watch some new shows.
Yes, and it forces you to keep Brain Cafe going.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm live anyway. I'm watching anime, and these podcasts are roughly around 30 minutes, 35 minutes. So it's not super long. But yeah, I'm gonna go now and catch up to Don the Don. I'm gonna watch the new episode of Don Machi and Uzumaki and those type of anime.
Bro, the new episode of Don Machi, chef's kiss, bro.
The last one I watched was amazing, but one came out today that I haven't watched yet.
Yeah, the new one that came out today is perfection.
Really, dude? Okay, well, I'm probably gonna watch that in a bit. So apparently today was better than the last one according to my chat. That's nuts.
Yeah, today's Don Machi episode was a lot.
I really enjoyed the last one. I really, really enjoyed the last one. But anyway, boys, that is the end of today's podcast. It's a little short podcast with me and Recon talking about what anime we were watching. Next week, we are covering Uzumaki, Ranma 1.5, and Don Machi, season 97. I hope you enjoyed. Check out my boy Recon. Thank you for doing this with me, Recon. I appreciate you.
No worries. I will see you again next week.
Bang.
Bang.